It's been a crazy 48 hours for the Walt Disney World Resort. Yes, the hurricane has come and gone, and no, there's no big damage to Disney proper. But the Disney to guest relations, well, that's a different story. 2 major errors made by Disney, and now attacks and even criticisms for those who dared cover the hurricane as it was passing by the Walt Disney World Resort. We'll tell you what you need to know to avoid this sort of thing in the future. This is the kind of video you cannot miss a second of. Let's break it down right now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we, as ever, bring the sanity you need to the insanity that is entertainment. And theme parks, by the way, because vacations are hectic, but they don't have to be. Quite the situation that some folks have been having. Ron, you were out there in it yesterday. My, oh my, out there in the hurricane.
I was. Yeah, I decided that I do a daily show every morning at 9:30. However, they get delayed when I do go live on location in the parks. But I decided I wanted to see what's this going to be like. How bad's the storm going to be? How's it going to affect operations? And I got to be on site to do that.
Yes. Well, I want to show some of the impacts, Ron, that we had with this. As we get ready to dive in, folks, continue clicking the like button. And Ron, could you tell the folks about your channel on the live stream if they want to go check out and see what it's like during a hurricane at Walt Disney World?
Sure. Follow the Bradley's Fun is the channel. It was the Daily Dish yesterday. I think, what was that, episode number 69? And we were live at Epcot and the Magic Kingdom, which was a little convoluted because I had to the live stream paused a couple of times so I could power up my device again. But I was live for 4 hours yesterday at both Epcot and the Magic Kingdom. When I got there, Epcot rained, wind, but the rain kind of calmed down, and it ended up being more of just a super windy day. And I was able to get on a few rides. I was able to get on Grand Fiesta Tour, Mexico boat ride. Went over on
I still call it Rio del Tiempo, sir. How dare you?
Rio del Tiempo, the original, yes.
Let me show you this article real quick, Ron. This is by Marvin Montanero over on That Park Place. It says, Hurricane Helena causes closures at Walt Disney World Universal Studios. And if you can believe it, Ron, even all the way up in Tennessee, they closed Dollywood yesterday due to concerns over flooding. And we'll scroll down here to the Disney part of this, but it says Walt Disney World, and this is from yesterday, folks, so we're looking back a little bit. We'll keep all 4 of its theme parks open yesterday and today, including Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and Animal Kingdom. Typhoon Lagoon, however, was closed, but here's the big deal, Ron, that has some people real ticked off. It says tonight's Mickey Not So Scary Halloween Party in the Magic Kingdom has been canceled. Now, that was yesterday's, and I'm going to show you why people are unhappy about this, Ron. Over on WDW Magic from 2 days ago, it says Walt Disney World's 2024 Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party completely sold out. Now, I don't have to read this article beyond just showing you the headline. That's what matters. Here's the deal, Ron. For those who wanted to enjoy Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and were scheduled for yesterday when it was canceled, and you said it became basically a windstorm, there's no ability for them to go to a different one. And Disney did not set up a new additional, in tomorrow or the next day to try to help these people out. They didn't say, oh, well, this happened to you. We'll give you a huge discount on Jollywood Nights, or we'll give you a huge discount on the Christmas after hours event. Like, there was nothing done except here's your money back. And that just seems to me to be not the Disney way. It's enough for most companies, but I just feel like Disney could have went the extra mile and said, here's a 20% discount on this or that. Or they could have said, you know what, we're going to move this and we're going to have this tomorrow or the next day. I just feel like Disney could have done a little bit extra. What do you think about it?
If it were me and I were in charge and let's say that there was nothing that I could do about maybe moving the date. If they had tickets, refund their ticket and then find out which resort they're staying at and at least give them a free bag of the candy, right? How about that? I mean, they paid for it initially, and Disney always has a ton of leftover candy that they're giving out for the trick-or-treaters. Maybe they could do something like that, or give them some type of a gift, something to make up for it. I remember the first time that I went to the Not So Scary Halloween Party was in a very, very similar situation. This was 2 years ago, and actually, it's the avatar for my channel. My family's picture is us at going into Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party 2 years ago. The day before, there was a hurricane, and somehow they got it cleaned up. They got the park ready. We went the day after. This was September 30th of 2022, and it looked like the hurricane never happened, and the party went off without a hitch. And we saw the Sanderson sisters and saw the parade and saw the Headless Horseman, and it was fantastic. So I'm kind of sad that people had to miss out on this.
Now, I do want to say, Ron, of course, we're not ignorant of the severity of a storm. And so we want to specifically say to those of you out there who were in the brunt of this, which Disney was not, luckily, for those of you who were in the path of the storm, and you experienced the wind and the flooding and all of that, this was a very dangerous Category 4. And there are a lot of people today who are suffering, truly suffering, power outages, damages to homes, trees down, all sorts of things. And it covers a wide swath of our country. We're not paying less attention to you or making light of the situation and saying, "Oh, woe are those who could not go to a Halloween party," and then fail to recognize the severity of what you're going through. We're sending you our thoughts and prayers, and we're wishing you the absolute best. Now, that said, Ron, while you were at the parks yesterday, did you hear any grumbling from people who were frustrated? Maybe those who had planned their vacation around this and it wasn't going to happen, or was it mostly something that guests understood and took with I guess, a little bit on the chin and said, "We'll chin up and keep going"?
Well, I didn't personally hear anything about that. I'm changing subjects just because this is funny, because I was on the monorail at one point in time when the storm got really, really bad. I was on the monorail from leaving Magic Kingdom, going to the TPC.
Can I just say, Ron, can I interrupt you to say I'm actually shocked that the monorails were going? Did they have the Skyliner going as well?
I don't think the Skyliner was operating, but the monorail was operating. And what was funny is that we were actually stopped in the monorail station at the Magic Kingdom. And then apparently they were switching trains. They told us there was an announcement that came on that said, we're paused momentarily. We're switching trains from one track to another, and they needed that time. And then when we started going was right after a big storm, blew in, rain started, wind started, was crazy. And I'm like, why are we going now? but that started to happen. And then it was, Florida weather's very weird. That band maybe was gone in 2 minutes. But here's what happened. I just want to touch this. We were passing the new DVC Polynesian building on the way back to the TPC, and a guest said, "Oh, that looks ugly. It looks like Howard Johnson."
Oh, well, that's true. I got to say, if any damage was going to be done by weather, an act of God, if you will, I can tell you which property on Disney that I would hope would take the brunt of it. I'm not wishing ill upon you, Disney, but if something has to take the damage, I can guarantee you I don't want Spaceship Earth to go rolling off.
No, definitely
a DVC, an empty DVC tower under construction. Well, we'll just leave it folks' imagination to understand how I feel. Ron, we promised everybody out there who was listening in how we would recommend to them how to avoid this kind of a situation in the future. Folks, we can't guarantee you 1,000% that you can avoid any kind of climate, weather, or other issue that's going to ruin your vacation. But I can give you a percentage, and that is to say, hurricane season starts June 1st and it ends at the end of November. Okay, which the hurricanes apparently really plan around the calendar because they start on the very first day of a month and they end on the very last day of a month. That's very kind of the hurricanes, very generous of them to succumb to our own calendar whims. But all of that said, in all seriousness, folks, there are hurricanes that can happen before June and there are hurricanes that can happen after December. But usually you have a much better chance of not experiencing a hurricane in October versus September. And so the closer you can get to go to the Halloween thing in October, the better. Now, that means you're going to have to get those tickets earlier rather than later, but we don't want you to lose out because the folks out there who did not get to do Mickey's Not So Scary this year, there's no solution for them. They get their money back, but they're not going to go because all of the rest are sold out. And so we want you to avoid that. Ron, any thoughts on that? You think that's a good suggestion, maybe?
It's hard because It, honestly, a Magic Kingdom day at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party can actually be better than a regular day. It was so unusual yesterday because I did see cast members trying to go out of their way to make people more comfortable during the day. They had that like celebrity thing that they do where they put the tape around and you step into it. They applaud for you. Um, they try to do what they can, the cast members, but they're prohibited to a certain degree for what they can do by management. And I don't know what all those prohibitions might be at this point in time. All I can say is that I hope that Disney did something for the people that didn't go to the parks, that stayed in the resorts. They have in the past. I just don't know where they're at today. So,
Ron,
you know,
let me show you one more thing that I find interesting about the hurricane, and this always happens. The Disney personalities out there, the vloggers, bloggers, media, all of that, and I don't know, maybe you and I are included in this now. I think we get some views here. I think you get some views there. I think we count, but people always do some things that draw some scrutiny in this kind of situation. And Disney Drew, and I'm sure you have you met Disney Drew before, Ron? Do you know this?
Drew the Disney dude? Yeah, Drew Smith. Yeah.
Disney, yeah, Drew Smith, young
Yeah, he's a
guy,
great guy.
really, yeah. Okay, so good, because I want to approach it that way. Here on Deadline, it says other major theme parks in Florida were open as normal on Friday, including the Walt Disney World Resort. Now, here on Deadline, Drew Smith gets a shout out and said Drew Smith, a Disney Parks fan, said attendance was low to the storm. And there's this post on X. It says Hurricane Helena has caused low crowds across Disney World and 5-minute wait for Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. I just walked through the entire queue without stopping 2 times in a row. And there's a video, and it's a little bit giddy. And you can see, Ron, that it says not found now. And that's because that post on X has been taken down. Drew was getting a tremendous amount of negative replies to this, people suggesting that he was not taking seriously, what others were going through and kind of, making light of what was happening across other parts of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and then up through Georgia and Tennessee, while he was getting to go on, rides for 5 minutes. And I just want to say, I don't think that was the intent that he was putting out there. I don't think that was what he was trying to do. I understand that there are those who will stay in a Disney hotel during a hurricane and do things. I've seen this before on YouTube. Do things that you shouldn't do, that annoy the cast members, that put them under undue stress, all kinds of stuff, So I get that. I don't think Drew was doing that at all. And I hope people will take it easy on him. And, everybody needs grace. So even if you disagree with me on this case, everybody needs some second, third, fourth, fifth, 100th extra chances. Ron, your thoughts on this one, because you were out there as well.
I was out there, yes.
You had a different flavor to what you were posting, but nevertheless, your thoughts on the criticisms that some put out that, hey, people are suffering. Don't post about your low wait times at Disney. Your thoughts on it.
Look, the reason he was out there, the reason I was out there is because people want to know what is Disney like during a hurricane. Maybe other families are planning and they're afraid, is their experience going to be tremendously diminished by this? We don't know what the weather's going to do. That storm could have taken a wild turn and come in, and I knew that I was risking it when I went out there yesterday. But if you are out there and the storm is okay, it's okay to have fun. My goodness, of course. And I know Drew is certainly not going to post anything that's going to be any harm to anybody. He's a straightforward guy. I wanted to say this though, because there was another conversation that I heard while on the monorail, and this is directly related to the cancellation of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. Other things got canceled too. A lot of tours, the safari tours, things like that at Animal Kingdom. But here's what happened, and I don't know if you know this. They canceled those tours for everybody that had booked and refunded their money. And then the next day, when they realized the weather wasn't going to be as bad as they thought, they actually opened some of those tours back up for booking on the spot that day, which means that some people got their tours canceled and were not able to rebook because they weren't given the notification by Disney. And they missed out on something that they maybe have planned for the last 2 years and could have gone But my understanding, and this is based on a conversation, only based on a conversation that I heard on the monorail, is that people were upset that they were not getting the notification that they could have rebooked or re-gone on that tour that got canceled for them.
Well, that's
So,
that's another area that Disney definitely needs to improve. When the people booking the tours, those are your biggest fans. Treat them well, Disney. Treat them well. Well, Ron, I hope that we've treated you well. Hope we have treated everybody else out there
oh,
well. Again, folks, if you are overcoming some of those hardships due to the hurricane, we encourage you, if you see standing water, avoid it. You never know how deep it might be, especially if it's moving water. Be careful around down power lines. And if you are out there cleaning up the debris and you are so able, it would be a wonderful act of kindness if you can help a neighbor out. Be on the lookout for those less fortunate with less tools who maybe have mobility issues. Be kind to one and all, and that would be a great takeaway from this.
yes,
Ron,
definitely.
I hope people will go check out your channel as fast as they possibly can.
Appreciate that.
Follow the Bradley's fun, folks. Follow the Bradley's fun. Folks, you can help us have fun. Click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment right on down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, until we have the opportunity, the honor, I say, to share time with you again and add value to your day, we hope, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Listen up, my brothers and sisters. You've been listening to Phils and those with an agenda to destroy your brain cells for far too long. It's time to change your way of doing things. Hold up. TPP is the place to be. Covering the news so honestly. It's a team that's cool and tried and true. Ahead of the culture curve, they're trying to keep you. Jonas and Pro, they run the show, and they dragged in the bearded culture casino. You got Valiant and Lord and Fourth of Light. Wonderful people, yeah, they're alright. They got weird bringing in people like Floral, but made no mistake with Lorena Creole. Amelia and John, stuttering guitarist. Martin and Tawny and someone called CMS. Fats even makes a bunch of other graphics. Did I mention a partnership with Bending in the comics? Fat Guy is a guy and Doc Matt does the web stuff. There's probably some people I missed. I hope they're not telling you the news that should be fun. With accurate info that's not been spun. You can figure it out as you will see. The TPP is the place to be.
Yeah, Wilton. That was actually pretty good, or white. But I think you might have forgotten Vash.
Well, he lost all his friends. But it was implied.